Alrighty, hey everyone. For those who don't know me, I am Jazmynn Appleton, the Chief Director of Entrepreneurial Growth and Innovation at the Progress Center for Black Women. And today we have Sarah Branch, owner of Earthly Temptations, and we have Isabella, can you pronounce your last name?
Sgriccia.
Perfect, from Kiva. So if you have any questions about Kiva and how Kiva works, we will make sure we get those all answered today. So I will go ahead and turn it over to these ladies just to do a quick intro, and we'll get right into it. Alrighty.
Sure. Hi everyone, my name is Isabella, but you can call me Bella. I'm the Kiva Capital Access Manager for the Madison City and Dean County. A little bit about Kiva, it's an online crowdfunded lending platform that offers 0% interest loans from $1,000 to $15,000 with no minimum credit required. We are one of the first steps towards access to capital. I work in the WIBIC office on South Park Street, and we do all sorts of business support.
Thank you, Isabella. Sarah?
Hey y'all, Sarah here, owner of Earthly Temptations, which is located at 1812 South Park Street. And we are Madison's only minority-owned holistic wellness shop. So we're offering things like crystals, sage, and body care products.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so Sarah, since you, Isabella, told us a little bit about Kiva, Sarah, I just want to ask, like, how you got connected to Kiva and what was your initial, like, what did the process look like for you, and how did you feel going through the application and all that good stuff?
Okay, so the first time I ever heard about Kiva was actually in the focus group at the Progress Center. At first I didn't apply because I didn't think I needed the funds, but after meeting with Jazmynn here at the store, we talked about some good things that the money that I can use the funds for to help grow my business. So after we talked about that, I was like, okay, I do need those funds because I was struggling a little bit and I wanted to expand a few things in my store, so I applied to Kiva. And honestly, the process for applying to Kiva was very simple. And I love the fact that I was able to meet with Bella before actually starting my application so we can walk through it as well as going over any questions that I had applying before they even arose.
Perfect, perfect. So what would you say were some of your successes going through Kiva, and what were some of your challenges?
Okay, well, starting off, so with the challenge, I guess the only challenge that I really had with going through Kiva was really sitting down and developing my story. I would say that is probably the longest process of applying for Kiva because you have to write a story about yourself and everything you've done and your history so folks can get to know you better, as well as the story about your business and what you plan on doing with the funds. But once I was able to get that together, Bella was also able to review that for me. So we touched it up and added some things, so that made that process a little quicker. And then just the success with it is how quickly my loan got funded. Honestly, I think my loan was funded in like 3 days. So we put that thing up there, and the community really supported me with sharing that around to Facebook as well as adding it into newsletters. So I was really grateful for the community helping with me and just getting that funded so quickly.
Perfect, perfect. Okay, so Sarah, would you recommend other small business owners like yourself go through this program, and why?
Yes, absolutely. I think anyone who's needing some extra funding to buy inventory or want to take additional courses or just whatever you need funds with for your business, I think Kiva is really a great source to apply just because you're pretty much just going to get approved. I'm not sure that you can get denied. I mean, I'm sure you could get denied, but more than likely you're going to get approved.
Right.
And I love it since it's crowdfunding. It's a way for you to tell your story a little bit more and for folks to connect with you. And I love the fact that it's 0% interest. Like, I got that loan, and like, I don't have to worry about hurry up and trying to rush and pay it back and stressing over getting so much interest on that amount just because it's interest free. So yes, if you're a business and you need that funds, you definitely should apply for Kiva.
Perfect. And then my final question to you, Sarah, will be, since being awarded the Kiva loan, what are some things that you were able to do for your business? What are some things people should expect or look forward to? Those kinds of things.
The first thing I did when I was awarded that Kiva loan was I enrolled in some additional courses. I would like to offer us more ceremonies as far as healing. So I enrolled at the Well Balanced Life so I can get more certified in courses, as well as I bought herbs. So I am now one of Madison's wholesale or bulk herb distributors. So we have a few different herbs you guys can use to make different teas and make tinctures. I'll be rolling out a few different blends of my own. I'm looking to provide a blend for anxiety as well as a detox blend, because a lot of people have been hitting me up with for that. But one of the great things that I was able to do with the Kiva Fund is to purchase a loyalty rewards program. So now when y'all come in and shop with me, I can now give y'all points and y'all can be rewarded for investing in yourselves and partaking in self-care. So I'm really excited about that rewards program. The system is really cool. Then the other thing that I done was also join a few different organizations. So I was able to use that fund to become an official member of Day by Local. I was a part of them last year as we did the Short Shop Local tour. And I was just really excited to become a part of them, as well as Destination Madison.
Awesome. Okay, Sarah, well, it sounds like Kiva was something that was successful for you. So I'm really happy to hear that we were able to connect you to Kiva and to help you get totally funded. And that was very quick. She got funded very, very quickly. So thanks to the overall support system, to our network, to Sarah's network, to the whole Kiva system, we were able to get her funded. And now she was able to invest in her business and move on up. So thanks for your input, Sarah. So Bella, why don't you go a little bit more into depth about what Kiva is, how it works, what are some of your take on how Kiva is for small business owners?
Yeah, thank you for the question. So Kiva overall, I think when you apply online at kiva.org/borrow. And like Sarah mentioned, the story is the part that takes the longest, and that's something I tell everyone. But Kiva's more than just a loan. It's a first step towards access to capital. You can grow your first business credit score. You can get capital for your business. You practice marketing to your community. I love Kiva because it challenges you to put your story in a concise way, in 350 words or less, and to talk about yourself and not only the business. A lot of people are so passionate about what they do, and they know their stories, but it's really hard for other people to see you without knowing those stories. So it's great marketing practice. Those stories are something you can use on websites, on flyers. Anytime someone asks you to talk about yourself, you have talking points. So I love Kiva for that as well. So when you apply online, the only two required documents that you're going to need are proof of business registration, like an LLC or an EIN. You will need a photo. Would you say that was also kind of difficult getting the right photo in?
Oh yeah, I would say that was kind of tricky at first, but I like the fact that I was able to submit 3 photos and like y'all picked the one that y'all thought was best for the. Yeah. And it's just only because a lot of my pictures I take vertically. Yeah, instead of horizontally. So yeah.
So that's the thing, is Kiva's really specific about the photo that you use. And the reason, and Kiva has a lot of specific things, and which is why I created the Kiva Guide. It walks you through what is Kiva, what the lending cycle looks like. There's a section on is Kiva right for you, including the timeline. There's a section on how to write a story and what parts of the application. And there's sections on how to write a business description. So you can pick that up at the South Park Street, or I believe you have it as well, Jazmynn.
Yes.
So you can always come and pick it up. But anyway, as I was saying, so you apply online, and then I get in contact with you. So once you submit it, it's not a be-all or end-all. Like Sarah mentioned, we made an appointment, we talked through everything, I answered questions, because I want to make sure you understand the process, because it's so different from a typical loan. And then I want to make sure it's a good fit for both of us. And like Sarah said, you have a 95% chance of getting approved for a Kiva loan. That's really high. From there, you get a review from me. I review your application. I give comments. It's never a no. It's a how can we make this work? Maybe your story needs adjusting. Maybe the documents aren't uploaded right, and that's something we want to help you with. Then we move you to Kiva review. That said, Jazmynn can provide an endorsement if she thinks that you're a strong business owner. You can also get an endorsement through Ribic. That helps you get approved for a higher amount. And then Kiva does their final underwriting. They make the final decisions. I can make recommendations, but ultimately the San Francisco headquarters are the ones who make the final decision on your loan. Our average loan is about $7,500 the first time, and you get, if you repay your loan on time, you get automatically approved for double the amount, up to $15,000. So there's always that option. And then you have your decision. Kiva will give you your decision, and then you accept it, and they'll say how many people in your community you need to reach. My thing is, when people think of crowdfunding, they think of GoFundMe, and that is farthest from the truth when it comes to Kiva. You go through the eligibility test when you apply, then you go through me, then you go through Kiva, then you go through your own community. So you have 4 touch points of review. By the time you reach crowdfunding, you are asking your community to lend to you, but it's a loan. It's vetted loan. People know where the money is going. They know who it's going to. They know you're going to pay it back because a third party is handling it. They've done a soft pull of your credit. They've made sure the money is going to a good place, and they're making sure it's going to help a business person grow. So in private crowdfunding, they'll ask you to reach, on average, 10 people. The range can be between 5 to 40 people, depending on the size of the loan and the impact. And if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But Kiva has a lot of details. So let's say the average is 10 people. You ask 10 people in your community to support you. Who did you ask? Or just like, who are the connections? Are they like friends?
Oh yeah, my first few people was friends and families, and then just people from organizations who I worked with before.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. So clients, connections, really anybody. It can be friends, people from church. But those are the people that know you. So by the time you go to public crowdfunding, people all over the world, all over the country already know that your loan matters, already know that your community needs your business, that they like you as a person. Oftentimes lenders, 70% of your loan is supported through public crowdfunding. So people that you may not ever meet or you may not meet initially. And they do that because they know that your loan has already been supported through your community first before it goes public on the Kiva website. And then your money gets dispersed between 4 to 7 business days, and you have 1 month to spend your money before you start repayments. So that's the process in detail, and then it's also in the Kiva guide too.
Perfect. So we got a few questions. So one of them is, what are the questions that I am hearing at the Progress Center most often from entrepreneurs who are reaching out to us about Kiva? So I think some of the things that entrepreneurs are asking about, like, are they able to even apply? Like, are they eligible for something like this? What does the process look like? We have had questions before, them knowing, if that it's a loan. So we would explain that process to them. We would explain like the endorsement process. But overall, I think just telling some of the success stories we've had with our entrepreneurs, we've had about, I would say, maybe 7 to 8 entrepreneurs in total get successfully funded through Kiva, and the process seemed to work really well for them. So those are some of the things that I will discuss with entrepreneurs when they do reach out in regards to Kiva. Question for you, Isabella, is how much I think you might have said this, but how much can folks borrow, and what determines what they can borrow, and then how does the repayment work?
All really good questions. So you can borrow between $1,000 to $15,000. What's the second question?
What determines what they can borrow,
Okay.
and then how does repayment work?
So what determines what you can borrow? It depends on what you're getting your Kiva loan for. So it depends on the project. It's very unique per person. They also evaluate your debt to income ratio. If you have like 8 credit cards open and you have a couple of business loans already, that increases your debt to income ratio and will affect how much you can borrow. It's not ever a no with Kiva. It's how much can we responsibly lend to you and how much do we think you'll be able to repay on top of your current business costs. So we want to make sure that when we're planning for repayment, that if we give you like a $10,000 loan, you'll be able to afford the $250 repayments every month. Because we want the cycle of lending to continue, and we can only do that if we know that you'll responsibly be able to pay that back. And then with repayments, what was the question?
So just how does repayment work?
Yeah, so one thing you'll need is a PayPal account. The money gets dispersed through your PayPal account, and then you connect your PayPal to your bank account so you can spend it any way you want. And then the repayments happen through Kiva. So you'll have a monthly payment schedule, and they'll send you a term along with your offer before you start crowdfunding, and they'll say, okay, congratulations, you get a 2-year loan. Your monthly payments are, let's say, $226 a month. And your payments start 1 month after the money's been dispersed. So if your money gets dispersed on May 23rd, you start making a payment on June 23rd. And those monthly payments will continue until you pay that back. That said, if you have a really good month and you want to pay back your Kiva loan early, you can do that. There's absolutely no negative consequences with that. And then you can also sign up for automatic payments so you don't have to worry about the payments either.
Perfect. So you were talking a bit about like the application process. So do you mind explaining like what are some things that help really leverage and boost your application? And then Sarah, if you could also kind of talk about what are some of the things that you put in your application that may have been unique or stood out, and what worked for you when you were submitting your application. So either one can go.
Well, I think for me that being in business for 3 years may have helped my application, because I'm showing that I'm already a good business person. I really didn't have I don't have any other loans, so I didn't have any debt to ratio or anything. And just having that endorsement, showing that my community already supported me, and then that story that I wrote about my business and why I am in business showed that there is a need for my business to be around, and I need that help to help elevate it. So I think in just really voicing your story strong enough, that will help your application and people to help lend to you.
Perfect.
Your story was incredible. I still remember it. I remember working on it. If you all have any questions for Sarah, she had a really great story, and we worked on it together. I think if you are able to take a look at her Kiva story, and if you'll allow them to, I think that's a great example. You just helped me visualize as an outside person who you were, how you got here, what motivates you, and your experience. So, and the other thing I want to mention is you don't have to be in business, but it does help if you have some business experience. So let's say you're starting a business, but you've managed a business like the one you're starting for 10 years. That helps qualify you, right? So Kiva wants to know what qualifies you to run a business and what qualifies you to run the type of business that you run. So if you are a massage therapist and you've been a massage therapist for 20 years, that helps Kiva understand that you know what you're doing in the massage therapy realm. Or if you took a business course through the Progress Center or through WIBIC, that helps. It's understanding what your experience was before, and that helps strengthen your application. Another thing besides your storytelling is being responsive. A lot of people don't understand that I can't move loans forward if I don't see you communicating. And that's something that that's a part of my recommendation to Kiva is, was this person communicative? It can be through phone, through email, if you show up in person in my office hours on Tuesdays. But are you communicative? Do you understand what you're asking for in the loan? There's a section on cash flow. If you fill that out and you kind of figure out, okay, What are my monthly payments? Do I know what I'm asking for? Do I know that this Kiva loan will cover the cost of my projects? Because again, if you have a $30,000 project and you're asking for $15,000, Kiva's gonna go, well, how are we gonna help you with that project and how is that gonna move forward? So having your strong business documents, there's a whole section on how to strengthen your application. If you have business revenue at all, that does help. If you have a high credit score, that helps. Then again, like I mentioned, there is no minimum credit score, but having a high credit score says this person is known to repay stuff. And that's all that really says. So if you have a high credit score, that helps. Again, it's not something where if you have a lower credit score that it's a no. If you're a repeat Kiva borrower, that helps. And if you have social media, that's the other thing. It's not a requirement. Not everybody needs social media. But we want to see you marketing yourself. How do you currently marketing yourself? Because like I mentioned, Kiva, you're practicing your marketing. And you're going to do well in Kiva if you practice it in some way. Do you have a strong WhatsApp community that you can reach out to really quick? Do you have a strong in-person community? Are you working with your church? Or do you have a great Instagram platform? Do you share your products often? We all look at those things. So those are some of the things that strengthen your application.
Wonderful. Lots of good information. So, Sarah, for your process going through Kiva, would there be anything that you would change about what you did?
No, I think everything I did was good. I think, yeah. I mean, probably ask for some more money. No, I'm just kidding.
Hey, nothing wrong with that.
No, but I really enjoyed the Kiva loan just because, like, I don't know how everybody else feels, but when I hear the word loan, it kind of gives me anxiety because I'm like, oh my gosh, I got to deal with the bank and they're going to be looking all of it up at my stuff and I'm going to get denied because A, B, and C. But, like, I promise you, Kiva was, like, really low pressure. And when I started doing it, and I was just like, yeah, this loan's going to get funded. I'm not going to worry about it. And, like, I just let it be. And I liked it that, like, Kiva sends you little emails on, like, things, oh, won't you try this to boost this? So they have this little platform that's helpful if you need a way to, like, boost your story or communicate with people, or if you need templates or something, they have that provided. So I thought that was really unique, and that helped lower my anxiety when I went for the loan, just because it was my first time applying for a loan, but it was nice.
Would you say that going through the Kiva process helped increase your own network for your business and maybe like even clientele? Like, did you feel like there was a lot more people becoming aware of Earthly Temptations?
Definitely, yes. Because one, with the crowdfunding, it is online. So it's like these people all across the world get to read about you and get to know about your business. So I had people donating from me all the way from Africa. And I was like, what? That is so cool. So, yes, because they're reading that story. And I was seeing people share that I was in the funding network on their profiles that I haven't even met. I didn't, like, some of these people, we're not even Facebook friends, but they seen that I was going for the Kiva and they just started sharing it. So more awareness was brought to the business from Kiva, yeah.
Yes, I love to hear it. Okay, so Bella, what kinds of like businesses or just things in general would not be something that Kiva may work with, or what would it not work for specifically?
So we have our minimum eligibility. Unfortunately, there are just some businesses Kiva says are an absolute no. Drone businesses, for some reason, don't ask me why, but they say no drones. I don't have any answer to that, but anything selling tobacco or alcohol, so anything that might be considered a negative impact in Kiva's eyes. Again, it's really less about me and more about Kiva's requirements. And anything that is like a third marketing company. So what I mean there is if you're an Uber driver, technically Uber's the company and you're kind of working as a contractor. You can apply for a Kiva loan for your Uber driving contract, for example. I did have that happen. Someone wanted a car so that they could Uber drive, but unfortunately we just don't do those loans. Again, with like Mary Kay, that's another example that people don't think about, is that makeup technically does come from a company. And so again, it really has to be your own business. It can't be like reselling or opening a chain store. And then again, you have to think, does your Kiva loan, like, is your project fit the Kiva loan range? Kiva's gonna look at that and go, well, this person needs a new truck. We can't cover a new truck for $15,000. We can cover repairs of a truck, or we can cover a lease for a truck, but we can't cover like the full cost of a truck, for example. Or this person wants to lease a building. We can help with that, but we can't help you buy a building, for example, because that's just not within the realm of possibility within a Kiva loan. And then we also have is Kiva right for you section, and that kind of helps you walk through, am I ready for a Kiva loan? Is what I want to do fit? Another thing is cryptocurrencies. That's what I was forgetting. And refinancing debt. So if you have debt, if you have a business loan and you want to refinance your debt through a Kiva loan, unfortunately we can't do that.
Gotcha. So Sarah, what is 3 things that you may tell another entrepreneur about who might be having some like anxiety about applying for Kiva and going through the process?
You should definitely apply for Kiva. You shouldn't have that much anxiety around it because it's really stressful, and Bella is here to assist you. If you have questions, you can make an appointment in her office on Tuesdays. The Kiva platform itself is very insightful, and it has a lot of information online, so you can also find answers to your questions there, and you can like read about other people's story and some of the things that they applied for and their success rates. And it's easy. I did it, so I know y'all can do it too. And so, yeah.
Perfect. And so, Isabella, is there any businesses that ever default on Kiva loans, and what does that look like?
Yeah, so there are some businesses that do default. It's a lower rate now that we have 3 capital access managers in the state of Wisconsin. So that's my job title. Some reasons people default, and again, that's why we are starting to evaluate communicativeness, is people, if you don't answer your emails, that'll be a sign that you won't be repaying your loan either, because if I can't get in contact with you, or I don't hear from you throughout the application process, chances are I won't hear from you in the repayment process either. So that's why that's a really strong requirement in my eyes. I don't need you to call me every hour on the hour, but it's just good to know that if I have questions that you can answer within a 24 to 48 hour window. Anything reasonable. And if for some reason you are going through a hard time or you can't make a payment that month, I'd rather you reach out to me, because there are things that I could do to help, but I won't know to help you unless you reach out and tell me.
Yeah.
So, Kiva has flexible payment plans. They only offer them to certain groups of people, and we would have to see if you are able or to do that program. But again, it's something where I want you to repay your loan, because if you repay this loan, then banks will go, oh, they already had a bank loan. Oh my gosh, we can give this person a loan. They have a history of repaying this loan. I know, I feel comfortable now. Kiva helps you get to a higher place where you can reach bigger capital, because one day you're going to have a project that's going to be more than $15,000, and I want you to be comfortable going to a bank. So we have business banking classes at WIDIC, and we have different things that'll support you growing and becoming a strong entrepreneur, and that's what we want from you, is to help you grow. So hopefully you don't default, because Kiva's the opportunity to grow, be better, and bigger in the future.
Perfect. So recently I had an entrepreneur reach out to me at the Progress Center asking about getting their loan tied to their credit so that they can start to see their repayments reflect on their credit. And this was someone who had successfully been funded through Kiva as well. So can you kind of tell me what that process is or how entrepreneurs should pay attention to that kind of thing if there's someone that wants to tie it to their credit?
Absolutely. So in the application, you'll see that there's a box that says interested in credit reporting. That doesn't mean that you enrolled in credit. And the only way to enroll in credit is going through the whole crowdfunding, getting your loan dispersed. Then they'll send you an email. Like Sarah said, they send you helpful emails along the way. And they are automated, so I know how I feel about newsletters is I kind of go speed through them and then I kind of skip because I have all these emails, but I encourage you not to skip those emails because Kiva will send you an email with a link that says enroll in credit now, and that's where you can start rolling into it. You can always opt in later on, but why give yourself the chance to forget? I'm a forgetful person. If I don't do things when they come on my desk, I will forget. That's just who I am. So I always make myself an action plan. My loan got dispersed, I'm going to set up automatic repayments, and I'm opt into credit. That's how I do it with my own personal credit cards as well. I always have my repayment set up at whatever payment I can make, and I just set a schedule so I know I never impact my credit in a bad way, and I know that I repay the community that supported you as well. So just some things to keep in mind.
Yeah, and that's another thing that I'm really excited about is that it helps you build your business credit because, like, besides my one small business credit card, I don't have anything. So when I got that email to opt into credit, I was like, okay, yes, right away. Let's get this business credit up here.
Yes. Perfect. So Isabella, are you able to name some other successful Kiva-funded businesses in the area?
Yeah, I think I've done 70 or 80 loans in the past year, so it'll take a second. Honestly, I think Sarah's was one of the strongest.
Yeah.
The story, you crowdfunded in a few days,
It
and
was
that's
like 3 days.
That's not normal. It usually does take a full 45 days. So that's another thing. Don't be worried if it doesn't take 3 days. Sarah's application was really strong. I'll say we have Precious crowdfunding right now from P-Dice Entertainment. She's got, I think, still half the time left, and she's gonna be done by the end of today or tomorrow. She's currently crowdfunding, so I would check her out while her loan is still live. Another one is Jazmynn's learning through play, I believe. She has a daycare, and I don't think that's the right business name, but she did really well. Mohammed Bakht, he was one of my borrowers, and his examples is actually in the Kiva guide. So you can read his personal story. And then there's Erica Palacios from Happy Llamas. She has a Peruvian wares market business, and she sells Peruvian handcrafts from all over Peru. And she was one of my first Kiva loans, and now I see her at the market every week.
Using that money and putting it to good use. Yeah, we've had several entrepreneurs in our network. So, for example, Hawanda Yarber, she owns a clothing line. She's also the author of many self-healing journals. Nicole Piku, who owns Anchored Agency, which is an adult family home. Kasia Pierce, who owns a lash and beauty business. Diane Pickens, who previously owned an event space where she would put on birthday parties for children. So lots of entrepreneurs in our network and in the area within Madison have definitely been funded through Kiva and seem to have a lot of success with the program as well. So final question I have on here is, Isabella, what do you want entrepreneurs to know? At least 3 things that will help them be successful.
So, number 1, I hope that as you go into your business, you know that you're gonna consistently have to be learning something. You know, times change quickly, applications change, processes change, and you always have to keep learning. So I say, even if you are established as a business and you feel comfortable, I would say still reach out to Jazmynn, still reach out to myself and Wivik, because we're gonna have new things to teach you all the time. We have a pricing series happening. I have a lot of people that go, oh, my prices are fine, but when you think about the economy, this is coming from an economics major, so I'm about to nerd out and I'm calming down now. But if you think about it, inflation's always going to increase, right? It increases at different rates, but prices are always going to increase, which means you're always going to have to reevaluate your prices. And that's not something that comes naturally to your mind. Every Tuesday I reevaluate my prices, you know, that's not something we think about, right? And so Jazmynn and myself are here to help figure those things out, but I need you to be willing to learn. I need you to take initiative and say, this 1 hour business course or training or live stream is worth my time. And it doesn't mean you have to go to every one, but it means continue to check out those classes, continue to check out those trainings. What new certifications might you need? Because if you want to continue to grow your business, you have to grow your knowledge too. And there are always new things to, I was just learning about your new reward system right now, or before this live stream, and I thought that was so cool that I put in my phone number and I'm already signed up for the rewards, and it was easy for me to use, and it looked like it's also easy for you to use, and I'm learning. But I think that's a quality that people oftentimes go, I just want to do my thing. I just want to crochet. I just want to sell my goods. And it's just not enough. I need you to be curious. So that's one. I would say a lot of people are scared to even consider financing because there's a lot of feeling like, you know, you're being judged when you walk into the room. And I hope that we can help you with Kiva to give you that first step, to give you some confidence, but I also don't want you to be afraid to walk into banks. I can tell you, I remember walking into my first bank growing up, and I was nervous. But now that I talk to so many bankers all the time, and we had that session at the Progress Center too, where Associated Bank came, you are just as a part of the table as they are, and you have to remember that going in. You are just as important as they are, and you're not there to be evaluating your worth as a human being. You're dating your bankers just as much as they are dating you. And if they say you're not a good fit, then it means they are not a good fit for you, right? So even if you do come and get a Kiva loan, I also want you to make sure your business finances are separate from your personal finances, which means eventually opening a business bank account. It's not the first thing you have to do, but I don't want it to be the last thing you do either. So ask your banker all the good questions. And if you need help coming up with questions, Jazmynn and I can help. You know, what questions do I ask? Do I ask what kind of products they have? Because we either assume it's a credit card or a loan. But there's a line of credit available, or there are different programs available for different groups of people, and you just won't know if you don't go and figure out what bank is best for you. I have some people that say they love Summit, some people that they love Associated. There's no one right bank. There's no one right financial answer. But my piece of advice is don't go get financing when you need it. Learn about the financing when you don't need it, so when you do need it, you already have a plan in place. I don't want anyone to ever struggle thinking, I needed money yesterday. I want you to go, okay, what are my options? And that's why you're on the live stream. I'm one of the options, but hopefully you're learning about your other options too. And the last thing is more time-wise. I will be out of the office starting this Wednesday through May 27th, but I have the director, Lisa Sullivan, who will be taking over my caseload. I have made my whole day on the 28th available for walk-ins, so if you do want to come see me personally, I will be there all day on Tuesday the 28th, not just 3 to 6. I will be there from 10 all the way up to the last person who's in the door, and I will be there to answer questions, but I just want people to not feel cheated that I did this live stream and then I won't be available. But if you write an email to me, if you need my contact information and you write me an email, I will make sure to get back to you. And if it's something more urgent, then Lisa Sullivan, who's the director, will respond. I just don't want anyone to be surprised that I did this whole outreach thing and then I'm not the one responding to my emails. So I'm happy to answer any questions you might have, but otherwise I will be back, I promise.
Well, we appreciate the heads up. And we have the lovely owner of House of Flavors as well, who said she just met with you today.
Yes, she did.
And she said you are amazing and very knowledgeable about Kiva. So I am glad you reached out to her. So anything else that either of you want to add about your experience or just working at Kiva or anything?
Oh, I have something.
Yes.
So one thing I feel like we didn't mention is that since it's a loan, people who donate, you get your money back.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of goes into this funding source. I don't think everybody knows that because someone donated to me and they were like, yeah, I just donated to you and I donated to somebody else and I donated to somebody else. And I'm like, did you use new money or did you use the money that was already? They like, no, I use new money. And I'm like, no, you can use the old money. So can you talk about that part?
Yeah, absolutely. So Kiva is a loan. So it's definitely not a donation. You put $25 in, and then depending on the length of the loan, you get the money back. So if you gave $25, you might get 70-cent increments like I'm getting for one of the loans I invested in. But you will get your full $25 by the end of the 1 to 3 year term. And you can reuse that money over and over and over again. For different loans. And if you want to put in 100 and relend what you have that shows up in your account, you can do that too. But just so you know, anytime you ask someone to lend, I say you're going to get it back because it's a cycle of lending. It's not a one-way street.
So then the money get paid, then it get paid back, and then it just stay in your account, right?
So there are 2 ways to do it. You'll either, if you don't make an account with Kiva, it'll just go straight to your credit card.
Okay.
Or if you make an account with Kiva, that'll also help you keep up with the loans. So when you make an account, you'll see all the loans you've lent to, you'll see the comments. So like when you have a Kiva loan that you're repaying back, you can comment and let people know if you're planning to put in a payment or, oh, I have an event I'm vending, come check me out, see me in person. And then you'll also be able to see that money coming in, and if you have a Kiva account, it'll come into your account, and you can either elect to have that go back into your bank account, or you can elect to push it to another loan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, I think this was a really good Q&A session. For anybody who has a last minute question that's watching the live, please feel free to drop that in the chat quick before we hop off. But if there are any entrepreneurs out there who are looking to get connected to Kiva or other resources like Sarah, wanting to know more about our Focus Accelerator, definitely reach out to me, Jazmynn, at Jazmynn, which is JAZMYNN, at centerforblackwomen.org. Definitely visit our website at centerforblackwomen.org. Check out our Focus Accelerator and learn how you can get connected to resources like Sarah did as well. So just going to wait 1 more minute, see if we got any last minute questions. But I think this went really, really well. Got lots of good information about Kiva. So again, if you are an entrepreneur looking for some type of funding out there and you're wanting to maybe try an alternative way of funding, definitely reach out to me or to Isabella directly and get hooked up with Kiva. Alrighty, well, I don't see any more questions. So again, reach out to me at Jazmynn at centerforblackwomen.org. Be sure to shop with Earthly Temptations and come get your wellness products, and definitely get connected with Isabella over at Kiva. Bye.